Hi, good morning. This is Saif here. As we demonstrated the last scenario, how to generate a sequence number using connected lookup transformation. Now let's see another version of it. So, how to generate sequence number using unconnected lookup transformation. Now, if you'll see this is the data which is coming from my source. So, employee number, e-name, organization, and department number, and these are the three set of records. If I run my workflow for the first time, so the sequence obviously it should return 1, 2, and 3, and the data should get loaded into my target. And if I run for the second time, so the sequence number should increase from where it left. So it left at 3, so it is getting increased at 4, 5, 6. So as we have seen last scenario with connected, we'll see with unconnected lookup transformation now. And here I will introduce one pseudo column introduction as well in my source qualifier override query row. Now let's try to see how to achieve this. So what I would be doing is I would be picking the data from my source table. So this is the source table. Let's execute this query. I guess 20 records are coming from here. Yes. Let's copy this and let's run this. And in my target table, I should not have data. Beautiful. So I need to pick the data from this table where I have 20 set of records. I will load it over here. So let's import these structures in my designer tool. So let's go to my source, import from database, give the credentials. So this is your source table. Then afterwards, let's import your target structure. Okay, so both are in place. Let's start designing the mapping. So go to your navigator window, drag your source. So we'll ask for a mapping name. So this is, let's say, generating sequence number using unconnected lookup. So this is the naming convention which we have provided, and let's drag my target table. So I'm done with it. So as we have seen in my last video wherein we were using an expression transformation to generate a counter, so here we will take a help of row function. So what I'll do is, this is the straightforward data. I will map this. Let's go to my source qualifier. So before all, so let's I'll show you some small thing. And let's go to the properties tab. If I say generate SQL, it will throw me an error. So why it throws me an error is cannot generate query because there are no valid fields projected from the source qualifier. It means that until unless you don't send ahead any codes from my source qualifier, the query won't get generated. So the columns which you are sending ahead, only those columns would on those columns the query would get generated. So I'm dragging this over here. I'll go to my properties tab. I'll generate an SQL. My SQL is getting generated. And what I'll do is I'll add a pseudo function called rownum. Oh, where it is going? Rownum, and I'll give a column alias as R number. And I'll come to my post column, and what I'll do is I'll add an extra column that is R number. Let's give a data type of double. And let's connect this to my target table. So I just need to show you one more problem over here. So what I'll do is let's copy this mapping name because I'll use in my naming convention to create a workflow. So the naming convention is WF. So mapping name. Let's create a task that is a session. Oh, the character is not allowed. I'm sorry for that. So and let's associate your appropriate mapping. It's a ETL developer's responsibility to appropriate because it gets highlighted in the alphabetical order. So So I'm done. So let's link this task. Double click over here, go to your mapping tab. Source is my staging schema, target is my star schema, change bulk to normal. I'm inserting the data, no update, no delete, and no truncate because I would be running for n number of times. And okay, so no unlookup at the moment, so we'll see that. Now if I'll run this, it should throw me an error which I wanted to demonstrate to you. Let's see that error and let's try to solve that error. So as expected, there is an error. Right click, so double click on over here, so you can get the reason over here as well. So right click, get session log, expand it, and press E for error. So if you'll see the over here, so the source qualifier contains an unbound field. So what this unbound field means is, so here also you can see the reason. So the source qualifier contains an unbound field. So I just wanted to show you this error purposefully. So in real time what we do is, so we try to write override queries and we just try to extract the data from my source on the basis of queries. So it gives a optimized performance and some kind of logic conditionals also. So what I'll do is, so roll number, see if it's not linked over here. So I will map any column which has the same data type. So number, so I can go for this employee number, and let's say I'll just connect this, save this mapping, refresh the changes. Let's re-execute this workflow again, and now this time it should run fine. Yes, as expected, it is running fine. 20 records are read, 20 records are written, and let's run this. So if you'll see 1 to 20, and if I run for the second time, so this is again running. So if I'll run this query, so if you'll see, so again my sequence is starting from 1 as we have used the pseudo column, as we have not used the unconnected lookup at the moment. So what we will do is, let's truncate this table. So the data has been truncated and there is no data in my target table. So let's start designing the mapping now. Now what I'll do is, I'll remove this. I'll try to do a lookup that is unconnected lookup at the in this scenario. So it would be doing a lookup on my target table. My target table is 52. Okay, so double click on this, remove all the unnecessary columns not required. Let's create one more column which will say as a key, data type of double. It would be a lookup. Let's add one more column which will be a input of key, again data type of double. That's it. Let's go to my condition tab, key to key column condition, and let's go to my properties tab and let's generate an SQL. So let's fragment this. So this is the first one. So I'll be bringing a max of my sequence number from my target table, and if that is null, I would be replacing it with a 0. So and this, let's say 1 as key, so that looks good. So that is okay. So now the SQL override query has been written in my lookup, and I need to call this. So to call this, I need to have a transformation. So what I'll do is, I'll add a transformation called expression, and I will call unconnected lookup in this. Let's go over here. So bring in all the ports. So these are the columns which would be sent ahead. Now I need one column, so this would be just input as we have seen last time. So let's create a variable port. wherein I would be calling my surrogate key. So this would be a variable port. Let's do a lookup and give a joining condition as 1. So that's done. And here I will create my surrogate key. So this would be an output port. So what first time when I'm loading the data, there is no data in my target table. So this surrogate key would be returning me 0. So I would be sending the data ahead as a row number. So I will have numbered as 1 to 20. And for the second time, what will happen is it would not be 0. So every time on the lookup condition, it would be throwing 1. So that would be the maximum value of would be 50 or 20 in my case. And then I need to add the numbers which are coming again, which are getting incremented in my pseudo column. That is nothing but this. Let's say OK. Let's say OK. And let's connect this. Let's save the mapping. Mapping is valid. Let's refresh this mapping, because and what we'll have to do is, as we have added unconnected lookup, so you need to give a connection name. It is in my star schema. Okay, everything looks fine. Let's run for the first time. This mapping is getting executed, successfully executed. 20 records read, 20 records written. So the first time, so the sequence should be 1 to 20. Oh, the sequence is null. Now there is an issue. Let's see what the issue is. Okay, so as we are getting null values populated to my sequence number, which is not the correct behavior, so let's truncate this. So there is no data in my target table. Now the problem is, so what we have done is we have not returned. So unconnected lookup should return something. So in unconnected lookup, there should be one port that one value would get returned. So I guess that's the issue. Save this, refresh the mapping. Let's execute for the first time. So it is getting executed, successfully executed. Hopefully this time the sequence number should be there. Yes, so the sequence number are there from 1 to 20. Let's run for the second time, and the sequence number should start from 21, not from 1. Successfully executed. Let's run this query. So these are my earlier records, and if you'll see ahead, the sequence number is getting generated from 21. So this is what the scenario says, is generating a sequence number using unconnected lookup transformation. So this was the data set. I showed a small set of data set, and this was the first run and this was the second run. Thank you for watching my video. So if you have any question, please feel free to send a mail on smitctechnologies at gmail.com. Or if you want any scenarios of yours or any SQL queries which needs to be implemented with a solution, please send it on smitctechnologies at gmail.com. Once I get some time after my hectic schedule of job, I'll definitely work on this and revert with you a solution. And also that query or that scenario would help my students in my classroom training, where I provide classroom training, so that might help them for the interview purpose as well. Stay tuned for my next video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Definitely there will be more learning coming in future, and slowly I would be covering almost 25 scenarios which are asked frequently in interviews, and I would be scaling up this to a complex scenarios as well. So thank you. Take care. Have a nice time. Bye.